March is a month of high-stakes mirrors and long-awaited breakthroughs. From a massive career green light to a make-or-break reality check in your closest bonds, the stars are forcing a transition from waiting to winning. Libra, here are the 5 critical shifts you cannot afford to miss this month. Chapter 1. The Mirror Effect: Radical Honesty in Relationships. Have you ever looked into a mirror and noticed something you've been overlooking for years? Perhaps a small detail in the background or a look in your own eyes you hadn't recognized. Starting March 6th, the universe is handing you a metaphorical silver mirror, but it's not your own face you'll be seeing. It's the reflection of your soul through the people closest to you. As Venus, your ruling planet of harmony and beauty, charges into the fiery sign of Aries, it lands directly in your house of partnerships. For a Libra, this is a massive shift in gravity. Usually, you are the architect of peace. You are the one who smooths over the rough edges of a conversation and ensures everyone else is comfortable. But this month, the cosmic energy is shifting from peace at any price to truth at all costs. This mirror effect means that the people in your life, your partner, your best friend, or even a close business associate, are going to start acting as direct reflections of your internal world. If you've been feeling restless but haven't said anything, don't be surprised if your partner suddenly expresses a need for change. If you've been doubting your own worth, you might find people challenging your boundaries more than usual. The universe isn't trying to upset you, it's trying to show you exactly where you stand. Aries energy is bold, direct, and sometimes a little sharp. It doesn't have time for the diplomatic maybe that Libras often lean on. This is your invitation to practice radical honesty. It's about looking at these reflections and asking, is this who I really am? Or is this just the version of me I've been playing to keep everyone happy? You might feel a sudden urge to have the talk you've been avoiding. You might feel a surge of independence that makes you want to reclaim your time and space. Embrace this. The tension you feel isn't a sign that things are falling apart. It's a sign that the old, blurry version of your relationships is being replaced by a high-definition reality. Before we dive into how this truth-telling leads directly into your career breakthrough, if you're finding value in this atmospheric look at your future, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us continue building this archive of insight together. By leaning into this mirror effect, you stop being a passenger in your own life. You start realizing that by being honest about your needs, you actually create a stronger, more authentic bond with others. The fog of niceness clears away, leaving room for real, deep, and unshakable connection. This is the foundation for everything else that happens in March. You cannot build a dream on a shaky foundation, and this first chapter is all about making sure your foundation, your relationships, is built on solid ground. Chapter 2. The Career Green Light: Ending the Professional Stall. The first week of March felt like you were walking through waist-deep water. Chapter 2 is where the current finally shifts in your favor. For months, many of you have felt a strange, invisible ceiling pressing down on your ambitions. Perhaps you've been working on a project that just won't launch, or you've been waiting for a yes from someone in power that never seems to arrive. On March 10th, that heavy, stagnant energy officially breaks. Jupiter, the planet of expansion, luck, and the big picture, finally stations direct in your 10th house of career and public reputation. In the world of astrology, Jupiter is like a cosmic spotlight. When it's moving backward, the light is dimmed. It's a time for behind-the-scenes editing and quiet preparation. But when it turns direct, especially in the highest point of your chart, it's as if the universe has finally flicked the switch. The career green light is officially on. This isn't just a small nudge, it's a massive surge of momentum. Think of it as a professional rebranding orchestrated by the stars. People in positions of authority, mentors, bosses, or even clients you haven't heard from in months, suddenly start seeing your value in a new light. If you've been feeling invisible, that's about to change. The work you did in the shadows during the winter months is finally ready for the main stage. But here is the catch. Jupiter provides the wind, but you still have to steer the ship. This transit thrives on confidence. Because your ruling planet is currently in bold Aries, the career green light requires you to be a bit more un-Libra-like in your approach. This isn't the time to wait for an invitation or to ask for permission. If you have an idea, pitch it. If you want a promotion, state your case. The diplomacy you usually rely on needs to be backed by a new sense of authority. You aren't just a member of the team anymore. You are a curator of your own destiny. You might notice a sudden influx of emails, new LinkedIn connections, or even a random check-in from a former colleague that turns into a serious job lead. Pay attention to the days around March 10th to March 15th. These dates are portal moments, where a single conversation can alter the trajectory of your entire year. The stall is over because you have learned everything you needed to learn while you were stuck. You've refined your craft, you've sharpened your vision, and now the path is clear. This professional breakthrough is also deeply tied to how you handled the mirror effect from the previous chapter. By being honest in your relationships, you've cleared the mental clutter that was holding you back at work. You are entering the office, or the digital workspace, with a lighter heart and a clearer head. The most exciting part? This is just the beginning of a larger upward trend. As we move deeper into the month, this career momentum starts to blend with your personal life, leading us to a moment of truth that will define your spring. You've waited for the signal, you've done the work, and now the road is open. Don't blink, because the speed of this change might just take your breath away. Chapter 3. The Relationship Reality Check. Commitment versus Exit. If the first 2 chapters of March felt like a whirlwind of self-discovery and career highs, Chapter 3 is where the cosmic energy asks you to pull over and check your map. Between March 8th and March 15th, the atmosphere shifts from the fiery excitement of new beginnings to a much more sober, grounded reality. This is the moment where Venus, your ruler, meets Saturn, the taskmaster of the zodiac. In the world of astrology, Saturn is the planet of boundaries, structures, and long-term consequences. When these two meet, the relationship reality check officially begins. For a Libra, this can feel a bit like a sudden chill in a warm room. You've spent the last week seeing yourself through others and feeling the rush of professional momentum. But now the universe wants to know, is what you're building actually sustainable? This isn't just about romantic partners. It applies to your closest friends, your business collaborators, and even the contracts you've made with yourself. During this week, the rose-colored glasses don't just slip, they are firmly taken off. You might find yourself looking at a situation and seeing it for exactly what it is, without the usual what-ifs, or the hope that it might change later. Saturn doesn't deal in maybe. It deals in facts. This is a make-or-break window. You might have a conversation that feels heavier than usual. A discussion about the future, about shared finances, or about where you truly stand in someone else's life. It's important to understand that this isn't a bad transit. In fact, for many Libras, this is the most empowering part of the month. Saturn provides the backbone that Libra sometimes lacks. If you've been in a situationship or a professional partnership that has no clear direction, this reality check provides the clarity you've been secretly craving. You stop wondering where you stand because the truth becomes impossible to ignore. For healthy relationships, this is a moment of deep leveling up. It's the decision to move in together, to sign a long-term contract, or to finally commit to a shared dream. It's the glue that turns a fleeting connection into a permanent fixture. However, if a connection has been held together only by your silence or your willingness to overcompromise, this reality check might feel like a door closing. Saturn asks you to value your time. It reminds you that no is a complete sentence. You might realize that you no longer have the energy to carry the weight of a one-sided dynamic. This is the exit part of the chapter, not as a failure but as a necessary clearing of space. As you move through these middle days of March, notice where you feel a sense of heaviness. That heaviness isn't a burden, it's an anchor. It's the universe telling you what is real and what is just a distraction. By the time the 15th rolls around, you will know exactly who is walking into the future with you and who is staying behind in the past. Don't turn away from the discomfort of these truths. The stability you find here is what will allow you to make the massive power move coming in the next chapter. You've cleared the air, you've set the boundaries, and now you are finally ready to act with total conviction. Chapter 4. The Power Move, Turning Vision into Action. If the middle of March felt like a slow, deliberate walk through a gallery of hard truths, Chapter 4 is where the music speeds up and the scene suddenly shifts into high gear. Between March 15th and 18th, the atmosphere undergoes a radical transformation. The heavy, grounding influence of Saturn begins to fade into the rearview mirror as Mars, the planet of drive, ambition, and raw energy, blasts into the sign of Aquarius. For you, Libra, this is the cosmic equivalent of an adrenaline shot directly to your creative and social sectors. The wait-and-see period is officially over. It is time for the power move. In the previous chapters, you did the internal work. You identified the mirrors in your life, you saw the green light in your career, and you faced the reality check of your commitments. Now the universe is asking you to take all that data and turn it into a decisive, visible action. In Aquarius, Mars doesn't want you to do things the traditional way. He wants you to be a disruptor. This is the moment to launch that unconventional project, to propose a radical new strategy at work, or to finally step out of the shadows and show the world your unique, visual architecture. This power move is characterized by a sudden burst of mental clarity. You might wake up in the middle of the night with a solution to a problem that has plagued you for months. Or you might find yourself in a meeting where you suddenly stop being the polite negotiator and start being the visionary. There is an electricity in the air during these days, a feeling that the rules are changing and you are the one holding the pen. For many Libras, this move will involve your community or your digital presence. It's about finding your people, the ones who truly understand your aesthetic and your message, and leading them towards something new. But a power move isn't just about being loud, it's about being effective. Because Mars is working in harmony with your sun sign during this stretch, the actions you take now have a strange way of feeling fated. You aren't pushing against the grain, you are finally catching the wind. If you've been hesitant to share your atmospheric archive or your faceless content with a wider audience because you fear judgment, this is the week those fears evaporate. You realize that your value doesn't come from fitting in. It comes from your ability to see the world differently. Expect a surge in your social battery as well. You might be pulled into brainstorming sessions, collaborative workshops, or high-energy networking events that feel like they are charging your soul rather than draining it. This is where the who from Chapter 3 becomes vital. The people who survived your reality check are now the ones standing beside you as you make this leap. The most important thing to remember during this power move is that perfection is the enemy of progress. Aquarius energy is about innovation and experimentation. Don't worry if the move feels messy or incomplete. The goal of this week isn't to reach the finish line. It's to break out of the starting gate with so much momentum that nothing can pull you back into the stall of early March. You are no longer just planning your life. You are actively, boldly, and visibly living it. Stay tuned because as this electric energy begins to settle, we move into our final chapter. The moment where all this power turns into permanent, tangible wealth. Chapter 5. The Wealth Shift, Stabilizing Your Shared Assets. As the electricity of mid-March begins to hum at a lower, more sustainable frequency, we enter the final and perhaps most rewarding phase of the month. On March 30th, your ruling planet, Venus, makes a significant move into the lush, grounded sign of Taurus. For you, Libra, this transit lights up your 8th house, the sector of deep transformation, shared resources, and long-term financial security. If the previous weeks were about the power move, this final chapter is about the wealth shift. It's the moment where your bold actions start to turn into something you can actually touch, save, and grow. In astrology, Taurus is the sign of the earth, representing everything that is tangible, sensory, and stable. When Venus, the planet of value, enters this sign, the focus shifts from "how much can I do?" to "how much can I keep?" This is a profoundly stabilizing energy for your bank account and your peace of mind. If you've been navigating a complex financial situation such as a loan, an inheritance, or a shared investment with a partner, the end of March brings a sense of resolution. The wealth shift isn't just about a sudden windfall. It's about the creation of a system that works for you while you sleep. This is the perfect time to look at your atmospheric archive, not just as a creative passion, but as a long-term asset. The 8th house governs passive gains, things like royalties, investments, or collaborative ventures. You may find that a seed you planted months ago suddenly begins to bear fruit, or a professional partnership you solidified during the reality check phase starts to show its true financial potential. There is a sense of coming home to your own value. You stop chasing the next big thing and start nurturing the abundance that is already flowing toward you. But the wealth shift is also emotional. The 8th house is the most intimate part of your chart. It's where we merge our lives with others. As the month closes, you'll find that the trust you've built and the boundaries you've set create a profound sense of safety. You aren't just stabilizing your wallet, you're stabilizing your heart. The frantic energy of early March is replaced by a luxurious, slow-burning confidence. You realize that by being honest, taking your career green light, and making your power move, you've earned the right to sit back and watch the garden grow. This is the quiet luxury of the soul. It's the realization that you have enough, you are enough, and you are building something that will last far beyond this season. As you look toward April, you do so from a position of strength, rooted in the earth and backed by the stars. As the dust settles on March, remember that your true power lies in the balance between your bold actions and your quiet inner truth. The shifts you've navigated this month are the blueprints for a brand new chapter of stability. If this journey resonated with your soul, please like this video and subscribe to join our archive. Comment below, which shift are you feeling most? Let's grow together. Until next time.